Are you drained by being a people pleaser?
Oh, you hear this
Even,
bomb, bomb, bomb.
I know, even saying that, just go, yes, great, that's it, fantastic. That's our podcast today. That's just acknowledging it. Actually, that's probably a great one for tip number one
Just to
is
acknowledge it.
acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, here you go. Tip number one, acknowledge. Just acknowledge it. Just do your PEMS. Just go, oh, well, that makes sense. No wonder the traffic's annoying me today because I'm late and, I left home late and whatever's going on, your head is full. So it's just like, okay. So the key, we all want to be seen, heard, and acknowledged. That's my favorites all the way, all the way, all the way. Literally every consult I go, seen, heard, and acknowledged. It just comes out. But this here is definitely acknowledged.
Debs is a stressologist. She will stretch your mindset to think bigger than you've ever thought before, with follow-through techniques that are realistic and achievable to blow any fear out of your mind. Moira is a mindset cultivator. She will help you align your personal trinity of self-trust, inner awareness, and self-confidence so that you discover and share your unique gifts and purpose. Together, their goal with these conversations is to share how our inclinations do not always work in our best interest and to provide the knowledge to leverage the gifts that already exist within each one of us. Their desire is to help you learn how to access the habits and behaviors that will lead to positive change and your best quality of life. Welcome to your deliciously motivated mindset.
Woohoo! Another deliciously motivated mindset conversation with Debs and Moira. I am Debs, and this is Moira.
This is me. Ta-da!
Ta-da! That's her. That's her on the other side of the world from me. Thank you,
Mhm.
thank you, thank you for joining us today. I do often sing when I come into these.
Yes, you do. I think
Uh,
if you didn't, then we would know something was definitely up.
So her PIMS is out of order, young
Yep,
ladies.
yep, yep.
But today is a perfect one for everybody, not just
Mm-hmm.
Moira, everybody. So thank you for joining me here today. Let's just get straight into it. And straight into it means let's hit our PEMS. And our PEMS is physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And if your PEMS are out of order, it can throw your day off. Something can happen and you can just be discombobulated, which is
Yep,
favorite
one
word
of
of
my favorite
Moira's.
word.
Her favorite more is and mine's pivot. There you go. What does
Yeah,
that say?
yeah,
Literally
yeah. There we are.
discombobulated and pivot. We're a great pair, aren't we?
Yeah,
Moira
that we
feels it at
are.
my pivot and I run the other way as quick as I can. Yeah, that's it. So one of the things we have noticed over our time is when you can uh, label what's going on, it just gives you a different understanding in your heart and in your head and your surroundings around. It's not an excuse. It's just like, oh, that makes sense. We
Yeah.
know if we don't eat, we know if we have had no with someone, we know if we haven't had sleep, we know if we haven't had sometimes sunshine or too much sunshine or something's gone on or you've read a book and it's really hit a nerve. It can throw you out of all sorts. So we number ourselves, we being us and you listeners, we number ourselves as 0 to 10. 10 being discombobulated.
Completely stuck.
10 10's
Chaotic.
a, 10's a yeah, a place to be. Yeah.
It
Get
is.
your tissues if you're at a 10, if you even can handle your tissues. And that means you're completely frazzled. We all know what a 10 is. I know it. I can feel in my body what a 10 feels like.
Mm-hmm.
But let's take you to the 0. The 0 is where we're aiming to be. And 0 is a beautiful, beautiful space to be. It's just present. It just is. I'm not worrying about what's coming next. I'm not worrying about what's happened. I'm not worrying about my head is not anywhere. I'm just present, poised, and your heart is full.
Yeah. You're feeling
Also,
zen. In the
yeah,
zen.
zen.
Zero
That's
to
it.
zen.
0 for zen.
Yeah.
And so that's our numbers. We rate ourselves now 0 to 10, and it's just a number. And then halfway through, you rate yourself again. And then at the end, you rate yourself again. And all it is, it's just a number. That's all. So grab your pen and paper because we are going to hit our podcast in a moment. But write down, the very first thing you're going to write down is the number of where you are right now. So Moira, where are you? What number are you at?
I'm at a 2. How about you?
2. I'm actually going for a 1.5. I would have said a 2, but I had this little problem before I started, and then I just mentioned to Moira, and she went, "Oh, blip 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 blip."
And I was like, ta-da!
Yeah, blip, 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 blip. Ta-da! And I went, "Oh, it's just shifted." It was literally like the pin drop. So I would have said a 2. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm a 2," but you just eased 3 hours of my mind work and just boom. So I probably should be a 0.5, if anything, really, the amount she's given me back in my day. But I'm just going to say I'm a 1.5. Now, you don't have to go for the whole explanation of where you're at, by the way, people. You can just go, I'm a 2, or I'm an 8, or today I'm a 5. Doesn't matter. The key is during our conversation here today, you're going to move closer to the 0. That's our aim.
Yeah.
That's it, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's our aim.
Totally. That's totally the aim of all of these conversations that we have.
We're not to pivot often. Yeah, perfect. And not to be discombobulated. So write that number down. Grab your pen, paper, note-taking device, because we are kicking off our podcast today is, are you drained by being a people pleaser?
Oh, you hear this bomb, bomb, bomb.
I know, even saying that, even just go, yes, great, that's it, fantastic. That's our podcast today. That's just acknowledging it. Actually, that's probably a great one for tip number 1.
Just to acknowledge it.
Yeah. Just like, okay, here you go. Tip number 1, acknowledge. Just acknowledge it. Just do your PEMS. Just go, oh, well, that makes sense. No wonder the traffic's annoying me today because I'm late and, I left home late and whatever's going on, your head is full. So it's just like, okay. So the key, we all want to be seen, heard, and acknowledged. That's my favorites all the way. Literally every consult I go, seen, heard, and acknowledged. It just comes out. But this here is definitely acknowledged. But this is about you being acknowledged, not anyone else. This is about you going, okay, I can see why I'm feeling off. I've had no sleep. Or I can see why I'm feeling off because my dogs are not well. Or I can see why I'm inspired because I just made a transformation or whatever it is. So acknowledge it. Just acknowledge what's going on for you. That's it. Just number 1, acknowledge.
I love that. Absolutely.
Now, Maura, what about you? Do you have an input?
No, I completely agree that acknowledge that we are all drained if we get into that propensity to be a people pleaser. So, the point that I want, and this will be tip number 2, is to avoid comparison. We often talk about this propensity to compare ourselves to other people, but sometimes this idea of being a people pleaser it's like setting up an agenda that we have to make that person accept us or like us, or because we think they're better than us, right? And so therefore it's kind of like abdicating that really we need to show up for who we are as we are, and go back to that acknowledging that part, right? So I think these 2 tips feel like they're kind of interwoven with each
surprise.
other. Yeah, totally. So avoid comparison and avoid criticizing yourself of like, oh, I have to get this person to approve of me, because you're not allowing yourself to approve of yourself exactly as you are. Does that make sense?
Yeah. 100%. And my avoid comparison, I'm a firm believer on that, but I'm also a firm believer on have a look if you feel right. If it feels right to have a look what they're doing or how they're doing it, look, but do not jump on their crazy train and join them. If you're, like 100% avoid comparing, but also acknowledge, see what they're doing. Just go, okay, well, that makes sense, or that's okay. And but not having oh, they're doing that, that's bad for them, or we should be doing that. Why are we not doing that?
Right.
That. So actually, I'm when I say look at them, I'm the one in the middle, just going,
from a neutral observing point of view, right?
Yeah, from a zero point of view.
Yeah,
PM.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so I can go, oh, look, Moira's doing this new course. How exciting. Yay. For all the people she's going to transform. Instead of going, Moira's doing a new course. Deborah, you haven't put a course out for 3 months. This is
Right.
not good enough. This is not, you're not equal here. This is not blah, 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 blah. Like
Mhm.
that marathon can go on a whole tangent. That's what Moira and I are meaning about comparison.
Yeah.
Avoid that. But I do think you can see people, don't hide from people. That makes sense,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Yeah. My thing about being a people pleaser, what is a people pleaser? Is it just someone like, are you being drained by being a people pleaser? Yes. I don't know anyone who isn't drained by being a people pleaser, because you go for and people go, no, I do this, I help with the charity, I help there, I help there. That's great. But where do you help you?
Right.
Because at the moment, while you're being people pleasing, you're actually avoiding. So be accountable to who you are. So you're actually avoiding. If you're people pleasing everyone else, you're actually avoiding your own soul, or you're feeding your soul with other people's energy.
Mm. Yeah, you're looking at getting approval or acceptance or sometimes even a sense of worth, right?
Yeah,
From
okay. Yeah.
outside of you.
It is a yeah.
So the thing that I would like to kind of bring into here is that in the work that you and I do, and many other people, we are of service. My life calling, my life's work is being of service.
Yeah.
However, being of service does not mean that I'm a people pleaser first. I actually have had lots of tussles with that people pleasing. But it's to actually change the priority of it. So what I mean by that is, and this is my tip, is your self-care, your sacred self-care, I like to say, is of primary importance. Above and beyond you being of service, not pleasing, but being of service to those that you're here to serve. Does that make sense? Like there's just getting really...
Yeah, I 100%. And I'm actually, because I was a single mum, I'm just going to jump in. And when I'm talking about single mum, look, she's 20, turning 24 this year. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I can still say I'm a single mum, but anyway, that's an attachment of who you are.
Right.
We came for the upbringing. I was brought up with, you're a single mum, your child goes first.
Right.
Your child goes first. Your child goes first. Deborah, you can't spend that money on you. It has to go to your child. Deborah, and I had that not just from my family, but my friends and the newspapers and the articles and TV. And yes, I read newspapers back then, just saying, not the online ones, the one that give you the print, just saying. But that sacred self-care, actually, we say it starts with you, but Moira and I are very firm on that. It starts with you.
Mhm.
None of this. So the people pleaser is other people giving their opinions to that. You need to be putting all your money. Don't go get your eyelashes done again, Deborah. Don't do that. Put it back into your daughter. But if I'm not right, my daughter's not going to be right. That I don't know how to say that firm enough, but not. But if I'm not feeling it, then other people are going to feel that I'm off as well. So that sacred care, your sacred care starts and stops with you.
Yep. But this is what I love this one where I've said this before, is that we give from our saucer. So we keep filling our own cup and then we give of the overflow. So that's that whole part of why it's so, so important that because if we give from our own cup to the point where it's empty, then you're no good to anyone. That's why it's essential.
Totally. I've never heard Moira say saucer. It just, the way she said saucer, I was like, oh, that's a cute word. I literally got, and then I'm like, listen to what she's saying, Deborah, and I got distracted too.
Distracted by me saying saucer.
Anyone else did it, or was it just me?
Okay, I speak funny. I know.
that accent of hers. Yeah, that's the one. That's it. That's that accent. I think seeing that is incredibly important, and then that literally goes back to the comparisons again.
Yeah.
All that whole crazy thing we do.
And well, so the other part is to always remember that other people's opinions aren't anything to do with us.
Oh, somebody said there was other people's opinions are none of my business, or
Yeah, I've said it before.
um,
Other people's opinions are none of my business.
I'm literally going, who is that? I'm like, I think that's Maura. And Maura goes, I've said that. Yeah, what is it? Other people's opinions.
Are none of my business. Yeah.
And I will say, when I heard this, I did pivot and go, oh, they are. I need to know. I need to know. I need to know what's going on. And I went into that little, like this quote, challenge me. And then it was like, actually, no, you don't. Stay in your lane, because they're going to take you off purpose. They're going to sideswipe you. Just stay where you're going and just focus on what's in front of you, where you're going and what you're doing. I just found that other people's opinion is none of your business quite challenging when I first got it. But when I spoke, now, don't even think about it. But funny, I remember saying that sentence to somebody, and they went, Deborah, that's what you live by anyway. It's like, no, I don't. They're like, you do. People say something, you're like, oh, not my monkey, not my circus. Oh, they can talk about what they want. They don't know me. And I was like, oh, but it must have been the way, probably Moira's accent, must have been the way Moira said it, because it definitely made me go, oh, I don't know if I can do this one. I heard it and it felt right, but I was definitely, but then people are just like, Deborah, you do that anyway. People start telling you, I heard this about you, and you're like, I don't care. I'm like, oh, I do that. You're right.
Right.
But I never attached it to a quote or a sentence or something.
Like a philosophy of what to do. Well, because sometimes, and in fact, it's you I think somewhere on your bio you talk about, you want to be nosy about me. Here, check this out. And so maybe that's part of it, right? Because a nosy component of us will be saying, oh, they got an opinion, I need to know what that is.
You say that, yeah.
Right.
Be here.
But so there will be a propensity to do that. But that's the thing, I think, that's another part of this. Other people's opinions are none of my business, is to accept, you know what, everybody's got an opinion. I don't need to find out what they are. Like, sure.
Weren't we talking about someone with twins?
Yeah.
Was it you?
Yeah, it was.
And like, so if I remember, they were having twins,
Mhm.
and everyone gave an opinion on everything with twins.
Yeah. Well, no, everybody was given an opinion on being pregnant and how to manage it. And so my client was saying, oh, so you've had twins, have you?
I love that. It's just a shutdown.
Yep. Bye.
And there's probably 1 in 20 people or 1 in 100 people go, yes. And you'll be like, great, now I'm going to lean in and talk to you.
Yeah, exactly.
And just see that. It is, but that's so true. That is so true. I'm going to say the word why here. Why? The whole thing is why. Do not get onto the why do I want to be a people pleaser? Why am I getting invested in Moira's life and not Deborah's life? Why am I thinking like this? Why is this not shifted? Like, if you're getting like, just don't. The why is going to drain you more than being a people pleaser.
I'll drive you crazy.
You're gonna go, yeah. That's like, just don't. Deborah's words. Just don't do the why. Yeah.
So saying that, one of the things that I would like to say is to actually, maybe if you have a propensity to be a people pleaser, like I said, I have I would say I've recovered. Sometimes I can take a wee backslide on being a people pleaser. But I think it's an important piece to understand what is it that need in you? Why are you putting that person's opinion or need above your own? And sometimes it can be a sense of a lack of self-worth, or that maybe sometimes even you don't trust that other person, and so you say, well, I'll have to go do it for them because they can't do it as well as I can. But you're sort of undermining what's right for you in that point,
I
right?
love that where you're undermining what's right for you. I think that's something where well, it is around to that self-worth, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. That you're thinking, oh, I'll take care, or for myself, I didn't even know what types of protocols or processes or practices for self-care were for my preference. I didn't even have a clue until I would say late to mid, well, yeah, late 30s, before I actually started saying, oh, I better go and try out. Do I like this type of meditation? Do I like this type of exercise? Because
Well, that
I was not brought up to even contemplate what do I like, what resonates, because it was always take care of family first, take care of your sister, take care of this goal or this parent, or right. So it's actually, it is so hugely tied in with self-worth. Self-worth
well,
says you're worthy of figuring out, right?
yeah. I got just then as we were doing that, when you were talking, I got my little goosies to say one size doesn't fit all. And I'm
Yeah.
sure we've talked about that
Yeah, we
before.
have.
But even when you mentioned meditating, for me, I was brought up thinking you had to put your white gown on, sit cross-legged. I know, sit cross-legged with your arms out and your fingers up.
Mm.
And you had to do that, and you had to sit silently with your own thoughts. Now, all of that screams, oh my God, hell no. Like, A, silently, B, cross-legged, white gown, like just everything just screams, oh my God, for me, there's no way. So I literally did not meditate for years and years because I was like, oh, I'm not doing that. That's just stupid. And it was that whole, that, and then somebody said to me, when you go and sit outside, do you shut your eyes and look at the sun? And I was like, yeah, sometimes I do, or I just look in my garden, and then 3 minutes have gone. They're like, that's a form of meditating. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? I was like, what? No, that's not it. So then I went, oh my God, I go to the toilet and I sit on the toilet. This is even growing. It's okay, Moira. I'm going to say a
Oh
clean thing.
no.
Whereas like, oh, we just don't know when Deborah's going
Like,
to
where
go.
are we going now?
But one of the things I do is, and I encourage that, I always say that to new people, new parents, just hide in the toilet and shut the door just for a minute. No one's
Oh yeah.
like banging
Yeah.
on the door.
Just
But if
go
you can
focus
learn
on
to
your
just go,
breath for a few
yeah,
rounds. Yeah.
totally. And then I went, oh my God, meditate going to the toilet. And I'm like, oh, I meditate. Now, the people who meditate like Moira, they're probably cringing, going, Deborah, you can't meditate on the toilet. You can't do, you know what? I can do whatever I want. Because right now,
I wouldn't ever say you can't meditate there or there or there or there. It's like whatever works for you.
that's it. Whatever works for you. But what works today may not work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe you go to the toilet next. I'm going to go shut your eyes and go, damn, I'm going to have to go get that white gown, aren't I? Find a place. I'll never find a peaceful place. I've got 2 dogs. But yeah, what works today may not work tomorrow. And it is that whole choose, which is what you're saying. What works for you may not work for others.
Oh,
But it is all
100%. But it's
yeah.
coming back to your breath, and we've talked about this so many times on our conversations, is hand on your heart and take a few deep breaths. That itself is a meditative practice.
I've never thought of, you know what? How many times do you do that? Sometimes 3 times a day, sometimes 4. It is. And so you can call it meditating. You can call it whatever you want.
You can call it meditation, contemplation, dancing with
heartfelt.
your intuition, getting in touch with your soul.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. It's the action and the intention behind it.
Yep.
Hand on heart, didn't think about that. Okay.
And so, this idea of, are you drained by being a people pleaser? We know that if you're being a people pleaser, it's draining your energy because you need to make sure that you've got your cup filled first. And so maybe this would be a good time to pause. When somebody asks you to do something, of course, you're going to be available to do things for other people if you've looked after your needs. So perhaps if somebody calls you up or emails you or asks you, hey, can you run out and do such and such? Pause. I just said about putting your hand on your heart. Pause for a moment and check. What's your bandwidth? Are you are you feeling calm and peaceful and got your cup full to be able to say, sure, I can do that? Or do you need to say, not right now, not right now. There's some things I need to attend to and I'll get back to you. Right? So it's about managing others' expectations of your time is such an important part. So this could be boundaries because we educate others how to speak to us and how to treat us. So remembering that can sometimes mean, like I said, press pause or say, I'll get back to you, or
no.
or no, you can actually say no, that just doesn't work for me, right?
Yeah, I think we get so entangled. Life's too busy. I've got to fit this in, and it is that just stop, hand on heart. What's my highest priority right here, right now?
Yeah.
And when I say what's my highest priority, what's going to light me up? What's my soul? What fills me up? What gives me my glitter?
What gives me that sense of yes?
Yeah.
So here's the thing too, because one of the things that I think of in my own evolution about putting my own needs, my own self-care needs as top priority is, I was the oldest of 5 girls. And so in that type of evolution of self, putting ourselves first would be selfish. I can even hear my dad saying, no, you can't do that for you
Totally.
first.
I was brought up with it, and there's only me and my sister.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it multiplied a few times in my upbringing, I'm sure. But you see, if you were brought up with that kind of paradigm, I really encourage you to acknowledge it, to appreciate it, and change the paradigm. Because when we do put our own self-care first, the ripple effect out into the collective is massive.
Oh.
And so that's you're inspiring others to do it that way around too. And can you imagine the calmness and soothing that kind of permeates, right?
It's going to rub off on you. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And because I love the word well, actually I don't like that word boundaries, but I
know
love
you
that
don't. I know when I was saying, I was like, oh, Deb's not going to like that one, but
I don't know. I just feel if you're seeing boundaries and you got some heavy shite around you, like you're seeing the word boundaries, and it's just one of my triggering words. Fancy that. People are like, well, Deborah's got a collection. It is what it is the other one, the other sentence. There's a few things like that. But I think boundaries, and we talked before that if it, standing outside, looking at the sun or shutting your eyes and looking up or just getting present, that may work for you today, but tomorrow it may not. And that's okay. But also be aware that your boundaries will change. Also, going back to our PEMS, remember at the start we talked about our PEMS people, that's going to pivot and change when we've had sleep and when we've done something fulfilling and when we've read a book that's made us go, oh, it's making me think about what's going on around, like it's opened your eyes and your ears and to what. So some things, again, one size doesn't fit.
Yeah.
A quick wee message before we get back to this episode. You can get access to a special gift Moira and Debs have put together for you. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift. When you sign up, You'll receive instant access to an Inner Peace Kit and the 30 Days of Wisdom program, both of which is intended to help you feel deliciously motivated right away. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift.
And
So-
to your point too, you've said this already, it doesn't even fit you. So it's about really staying present. That's why being really present and examining, I said checking in with your bandwidth. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm just not feeling that. And actually also being able to say, like, if you said, yes, sure, I'm going to come over to your house and do such and such, and then that day comes and you're exhausted,
Yeah.
then you need to manage that and say, you know what, I need to put it off. I need to reschedule, because it's about really putting your energy and your bandwidth as the priority, and whether that means putting up a boundary or educating somebody, saying, I'm not breaking my word, I'm just renegotiating here, right?
Yeah, and it brings up a great when you point, and that's called trust. So
Yes.
so trust that when you say no to somebody, they're going to receive it in the same warmth that you're going to send it.
Yeah.
Trust that all is going to be well in your world and in theirs. So you're trusting that it's just going to flow and it's going to be okay. I think trust that it's going to work out, because that's it. Oh, they're not going to like me, or oh, I'm letting them down, or when I need them next time, I'm not going to be able to do that, or they're going to need me, or oh, if I say no, it's going to cause conflict in my friendship, or like trust that if you feel the need or the desire to fill your heart, then the universe has got your back.
But
That's
you know
it.
that makes me think is that when we get entrapped by that thinking of like, oh no, I'm going to let them down, or they'll not be able to do whatever, so therefore I have to just tough it out and go or do it, we're actually doing them a disservice.
Yeah, totally. I was just thinking that. Yeah.
Right? So if it's not right for you, it's not right for them.
Yeah.
And so that's why I like what you said about the trust, that if you need to say, no, I can't do it, that when you come from your heart, you're not going to upset them.
And that's it. When you come from your heart, that's the difference in going, oh, I need to change that appointment. Oh, there's such a pain. Da 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 da. When you come from your heart, that all just disperses.
But it also comes from the genuine place. You're not making up a story. You're just saying, coming from my heart, this just doesn't work for me right now.
And I love the way she goes, you're not making up a story, because you're not in your head going, oh, I've got to do this, and there's all this, and there's that back chatter from your PEMS being a 10 to an 8 to a 7, and got to do this and da da da, and you're jumping, you're completely discombobulated.
Yeah.
Even though if you're people pleasing yourself, like that's how draining it is. But
Yeah.
you're on a marathon hamster wheel. But trust isn't as hard as what we think. It's literally trust once and done. I trust that it's going to work out. And we all know my favorite saying from John D. Well, one of them. It's on the way, not in the way.
Yep. I use that one often, thanks to you.
Yeah, and it literally, so trust that everything's on the way, not in the way.
Yeah.
And even just knowing that, even if you just go, that's a crock of whatever, sometimes it's not. It's like it is, but
Actually
you'll
is,
go, oh, one door closes, another opens. We've all got those sayings, but trusting that it's on the way, not in the way. And you don't know what is around the corner. You don't know what the bigger picture can see that we can't see.
Yep. That's what made me think of what you were saying. Is my tip here is to watch the inner dialogue.
Oh, whoops, sorry. That was me last week. My inner dialogue was writing a novel that was beyond repair. It was just crazy. It was dancing all around the thing. Yeah, the inner dialogue. Oh.
So it's something that I really encourage, and I've often said this, that our inner dialogue, we have like the saboteur chatter or the inner judge or the discombobulated type of vibe. There.
Yeah.
Crazy making thinking. when you become aware of it, one of the things I really encourage, and this I do this in myself, is have an appreciation for it. Have an appreciation for that worry vibe or voice that's within you that says, "Oh my God, but what if this happens? And what if that happens? And oh, that's not going to go well." And that to take a deep breath and stay present, say thank you to that dialogue
Mm.
because it's going to keep getting louder and louder and louder until you acknowledge it. However, it's often based on something that is no longer in effect. It's not there anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like might be
Yeah.
based on something that happened 10, 20 years ago. So what? Thanks. I hear you. Thank you. Right?
Well, and yes, because all you got to do is hand on your heart and just go, I've got this.
Yeah,
Thank you.
precisely.
So our very first tip was acknowledge. Got this. And the very last one at the moment is that whole appreciation. Just don't let's do anything in the middle. But this is exactly it. It's just, I've got this. Thank you. And having that trust and belief that you've got it. Now you can put your hand on your heart and say, I've got this. And inside you go like, oh, that's a crock of shit, whatever. But you've still told yourself, I've got this. And that I've got this, when you say, has more of an impact than, oh, but what about this? What about this? What about this? And what about this? Because you're literally, I've got this, sounds more oomph than, oh, but what about this? And then I haven't done this and da da da.
Yeah,
Because
different energies.
it's different, lower vibration, isn't it, really? But you can't say I've got this and the universe not hear you as you haven't got it. The universe will hear that. You can call it the universe, whatever you want to call it. But I've got this means I've got this. And hand on heart, I've got this.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other one that I really like and I use often is all is well in my world.
Oh, yeah,
All is
that's
well in my
cute.
world. Yeah.
Someone said a new quote the other day to me. That's a nice one. It's on my pile of paperwork, but somewhere. And I remember thinking, that's a nice one. That's a nice way of saying it's flowing instead of I'm sitting in the stagnant stream trying to flap to get out. I know we're conscious of time here, but I'm also just going to say, and we probably could have weaved this one in on every second one we said. And this one is, you're not alone. I started singing then. You are not alone. Yeah. Apologies or not apologies if you don't like Michael Jackson, but the song does come into my head when I think of that. You are not alone. It's probably not even I don't even know the lyrics of it, but you are not alone.
You never
Moira
are.
and I are here to help you. We have over, I'd hate to think, I'd say we've got over 50 years of experience between us both.
Yeah, I would say that. Yep.
At least. To helping people dissolve, resolve, clear their clutter, take them from a 10 to a 0 in their PEMs. We are here with our heart and our soul to help you shift whatever is in your way. That you see those boulders. We are here. We are both exceptionally great at what we do. We have different styles. You will have seen that and heard that. But we get a result, and we get a result that isn't a painful journey for you. We're here guiding you all the way. So don't feel you have to do this alone. You've got other people you can talk to and who resonates with you. But also be aware that when you share your stuff with a friend or a partner or a parent, they've got their own stuff. You can go to your mum and say, well, I'm not happy with the way I was brought up because of this, this, and this, and I want to talk to you about that. That's a bit different having that conversation with your parents, if it's about your parents, than it would be with Moira and I.
Definitely. Definitely. And I'm not sure how far you would get with that one.
As I was saying that, I was like, oh, I don't know if mum will just probably go, okay, David, it's yours. And Dad will go, I'm out of here. You literally see Dad beep, 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 remove the truck.
Oh, I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
So I say that to Mum, I remember you doing that. She's like, no, you've made that up. And I literally go, I'm sure it happened. And then when she says you made it up, I believe her. And I'm like, now I know, oh, that means we're not talking about that. Okay, right. It's only taken me 50 odd years to go, no, you made that up. I'm like, I don't think I did, but okay, maybe I did. No, I realized that means we're not talking about it.
Yes.
Took me a while to do that. But I just really would like to emphasize you are not alone.
Mhm.
Is there anything else you'd like to add with that you are not alone, Maura, before we do wrap up? Because I don't know if I can say it any louder.
No, I think it's such an important part that to I think that you're not alone and that you are worthy of reaching out to get the support,
Yeah.
you know, whether it's a professional to hold space for you or somebody to help you navigate or do a brain dump, get rid of all that inner chatter, the inner
Yeah.
critic, or oh, I better look after this person because I can't love and accept myself until I, have this person love and accept me, which is actually oftentimes the gateway into being a people pleaser. So it's not that you need to get to a certain level or plateau before you reach out for help. It's like wherever you are. That's what you're saying, Deb, is that you and I are very skilled at meeting people exactly where they are to then
Yeah.
help them step up.
Yeah, no matter, and no matter, like Maura just said, no matter what level.
Yeah.
You can be a 10, you can be beyond a
Yeah.
10, you can be a 2. Even you can be a 1 and you go, there's more in it for me. We can take you to that 0, 100%. So I love that, because it doesn't matter if you're a 1 or an 8 or a 5 or 11
Or 15,
or beyond. We've been beyond.
we have
We've
been
both
beyond.
we've both had some goody journeys.
Yep. Yep. And I think a lot of people have. It's part of being human, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Perfect.
So it's time to wrap up and go through our tips now, right?
Yay.
So, dear listeners, if you hadn't already, we encourage you to get that note-taking device, pen, pencil, paper, old-fashioned way, or your electronic note-taking. We are going to sum up all of the tips that we just shared. So I'll kick us off with the first one we talked about: acknowledge. We're talking about, are you drained by being a people pleaser? It is a draining propensity, and it's something that really needs to be released. So if you have that propensity, acknowledge it. That's the first way of taking on a new paradigm, a new pattern, a new behavior, is to first of all acknowledge what you're doing right now, right? That's when Deb talked about the see, heard, and acknowledged. We all need that.
Yeah, and I even find if you just acknowledge it, you can just go, oh, that makes sense. It's like when you go get a diagnosis from the doctor. Whether it's true or not, I'm just going to say that because I had a conversation the other day and the doctor gave me that whole story. It still allows you to go, oh, okay, well, that explains it.
Yeah, now I can
And
stop making up stories in my head.
yeah, and the PEMS, oh, no wonder I got road rage because I haven't eaten for 3 days and I haven't slept and da-da-da. Well, if you haven't eaten for 3 days and you haven't slept for
Well,
3 days, get off the road.
Yes, definitely don't be driving.
Here's my advice: get off the road. But I mean, if you're like that, it's like, oh, no wonder I'm like this, or no wonder. It's literally just an acknowledgement. It's a tick box. Oh, well, that makes sense then. Okay, done. Or that doesn't make any sense, but that's what it is. Yeah.
Yep.
The next one I had is, I'm just going to be honest, Maura. The next 5 I've got all over the place, so I don't even know. But I'm going to go with this one. So Maura might have to add some tips in here. So this was avoid comparisons.
Mhm.
And comparisons, and there was another C word in there. Whereas like what?
Criticism.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, I
C word.
know what C word is she gonna say? Avoid, well, there is a C word you can put in there, but we're not going to, and we're definitely not, and I'm not even looking at more as I say that. I'll go back to my little notes. Avoid comparisons and criticizing.
Mhm.
You can look, but don't attach them, because it just can take you off course. And Moira said some words. She said, show up who we are as we are.
Yeah.
And I just like that. So it's just show up who you are and as we are. You don't have to be anybody different. You don't have to try anything different. It's like, this is me.
Yeah.
This is me. Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly, and that's what the universe wants of you. from you.
Totally.
Yeah.
We have all these physical symptoms and we have all these other things to get us back on track. They
Mhm.
just want you authentic to who you are, not authentic to Moira, not authentic to Deborah, to who you are.
Yep, the truth of you.
Mm.
The next tip I have, and it's my whole sacred self-care, that it's essential to have you at the top of your own priority list. It's actually one of the best ways to be of service to others or to those that you're here to serve. You got to put you first in order to be of best and highest caliber of service. Right? I'm a living testament of that because I've burnt out 3 times in my adult life. I know this one really strongly.
Mm. I was talking to a ex client the other day, a friend, a colleague, I don't know what you really call her. I was talking to a lovely woman, Jill. There we go, just name her, Jill. Jill. And she asked me how my Sunday was going, and I said, you know what? I'm literally doing nothing. She was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I'm literally doing nothing. I'm just sitting outside, even just looking at the flowers, the birds that are coming along. And like, I must have sat out there in a zombie land if somebody was watching me for an hour or so.
Good
And
for
then I
you.
literally did nothing. I just had one of those days. And that was my sacred self-care. And she said, when I have days like this, my inspiration flows. I said, oh yeah, I kept on trying to shut it down because I had all these ideas like, oh, I'm going to run that course, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to name that. And my head was flowing, and I'm like, just be present. Don't
Yeah.
bring pen and paper out, just be present. And you know, the moment I brought pen and paper out, the blooming vision stopped. I literally just said, I was like, wow, it was never meant to be a thing. And it was a beautiful story we shared because she said whenever she has that downtime, she says that's when she creates the most. And it's that whole, don't be afraid to step back. And like when Maura's saying your sacred self-care, don't be afraid to step back and just go, you know what, I'm just going to take an hour off. I can financially take an hour off. I can, mentally take an hour off from everybody and everything. And that's it.
Yep.
Like that. It was just a nice story.
Love it. That's beautiful.
Except my pad still had nothing on it afterwards, but anyway.
And that's okay. It just wasn't the right timing.
Yeah, totally. More other people's opinions are none of my business.
Yes. We need to make a t-shirt for that.
I think, yeah. Have you, oh, I better not. Have you, no.
Huh?
I was just thinking of a song, but I don't know if it's called Dilly Gaff.
Oh,
Dude,
okay.
I'll wait till the end of it, and it's literally other people's opinion, and it's literally says, "Do I look like I give a F dilly gaff?" That's do I look like I give a? That's it. DILLIGAF, and it's the funniest song. Totally inappropriate. Totally inappropriate. You have to be over 18 at least to listen to it. Do not. Yeah,
Other
go on.
people's opinions, none of my business.
It is. It's just like dilly gaff. It's like, yeah, it's none of my business what people say about me. Yeah.
Yep.
And then you can sleep at night just going, okay, done. Done.
The next tip that I have here was, and this was one that you had said about why we don't, and actually Deb's advice here was just don't. Just don't.
Moira's going to pack it up now properly. She's going to make it word it nice. I'm like, don't. Just don't. That's
So the thing is about the why. Why do I always do this? Or why does that person always ask me for this? Or why did they wait till the last opportunity to ask me and then guilt me into doing it? Why?
Why me and not my sister? Yeah.
Whys will always derail you. They will always spin you out of down out of any sense of peace. So it's about, and this actually does have a wee piece of boundaries too, is don't allow other things to kludge up your own energy bubble. Your energy bubble is your responsibility. So tap into it. And sometimes that means taking that hour off or just saying, okay, no, not today. Not taking that on, and just come back to your breath. Put your hand on your heart. But watch that pattern.
I forgot one of the things I actually say to people when why comes in is I say, how is this of service to me? And literally, it just changes that reframing of why me? Why not my sister? How's this of service to me? You actually go into solution mode. You go into a completely different, you don't go back to that why when you start focusing on that. You're going, how's this of service to me? How's this of service that I get asked, not my sister, or da da da? And it just shifts that whole, you're not on that hamster wheel.
I like that. What I encourage people to do, and I probably said this to you too, is that I encourage people to reframe why into what. What's the gift here? What's the opportunity?
Oh,
What's
yeah, of course.
right?
Yeah.
What can be gained by this? What's the goodness in here? Because that's always there too. And
Yeah.
what you see, because that's what made me think of it, is what is always solution focused, whereas why usually takes us into the negative of, oh, it's because I suck, because I'm an idiot, because I'm a loser, because I'm this, because I didn't know better.
Why is all the things that are unhealthy for you?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love that. What's the goodness in this? I love that word. She didn't say saucer though. I was waiting on her to say the word saucer again. The next one I have is undermining, and then I've got ... what works for you. So, Maura, you might want to talk about this one. Undermining, what works for you? One size doesn't fit all self-worth. In my notes, so I don't know. Can you just sum those two up for me? I could definitely sum them up, but let's get this back to where we were.
Well, that by putting somebody else's needs above your own undermines your own self-worth. And then we were talking about that, your self-worth is that you are worthy of your own time and attention, your self-care, filling your cup so you can give from your saucer. There, I needed to put that in for Deb.
I love that. I heard her say saucer before. I don't recall you ever saying saucer before. I don't know what it is. It's just like, oh, isn't it funny?
But so it is these all weave really beautifully, is that you don't want to be undermining your worth by thinking somebody else is of more importance, because you are your own priority in order to then be, and like I say, I really encourage you to start reframing this. Rather than being a people pleaser, maybe you're going to be of service. There's a different energy than being a people pleaser is me going to be running and draining my own energy resources. Whereas being of service, I can keep giving and giving and giving, but it's a flow, and I'm coming from the heart, and
It's a reframe, isn't it? It's
yeah.
just literally a reframe from that why again.
Yeah.
And that shifts in your physical.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
And that's from here we went into talking about boundaries, right? I know it's word you don't like.
Meditating. We have meditating, then boundaries. Meditating, boundaries. They don't even go side by side, do they? Ugh. No.
Of course they do.
Yeah, of course they do. I've got meditating here because that was one of the self-care, self-rituals. You've got self. I didn't even write self-care down. I'm sure you said self-care.
I did. I said self-care a couple of times.
My notes are all over the place today. And meditating, and I didn't realize meditating was literally just being present with yourself and your heartbeat and your own thoughts until you let those thoughts go and it becomes truly present.
Yes.
Then there's no thoughts. And meditating, Moira mentioned the words hand on heart, and that's what I do, but I didn't realize that's all part of a meditating process of whatever works for you right now. But meditating is a great one just to ground yourself, ground
yourself. Definitely.
And then the next was boundaries.
Right. And so in with the boundaries is when I said about checking in with yourself to see what is your bandwidth. Do you need to say no or not right now? Or I'll get back to you. But just really, boundaries is an awareness that we educate others how to treat us and how to speak to us. So sometimes if you're having somebody being disrespectful or a bit too demanding of your time, it's kind of saying, oh, wait, I need to say, no, that's not okay right now. Right?
Yeah.
Or I'll get back.
And it's not being afraid to say that stuff.
Yes. That's coming into self-worth too, though, right?
Yeah, totally. Just being present.
Mhm.
So the next one I had after that was trust.
Mhm.
Sometimes it took a while to get all the way down the end there on that one. Trust in yourself, trust in others, and trust in the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Because everything's on the way, not in the way.
Not in the
Trust
way.
is incredibly important. And even if you doubt yourself into certain things, trust pops in.
Yeah.
Pops in.
Yep.
There it is.
100%. It's an inside job. The
Yeah.
next one I have here is, I said, watch the inner dialogue. And that's when we said to see if you can rewire your inner dialogue to, I've got
Mm.
this, or all is well in my world, or even everything is on my way, not in my way.
Yeah.
Right?
And Moira mentioned the word appreciation, and that was thank you to that dialogue. Thank you for
Yes.
alerting yourself to my stuff. I've got this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And well, appreciation goes into everything we talk about anyway.
Yep.
But putting that into an appreciation, you're wrapping that into a love bubble. You're
Yes.
instantly just going, I'm going to engulf you in love.
Giving it compassion. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then the last tip I have, and I was just looking up the lyrics for You Are Not Alone.
Oh.
And I went, nope, not going to read those out. But I will say, you are not alone. That you are not alone. I'm here with you, Moira and I.
Mhm.
Though you're far away, I'm here to stay. But you're not alone. I'm here with you. And I think we can help. We do have over 50 years. We've got to have probably.
Yeah, I'm sure. I haven't
Yeah.
done the math
Over,
on it, but I'm sure probably more.
yeah. And more. Yeah. I think that. But we have that experience to help you work through anything, no matter what level you're at. If you're a 0, if you're a 1 on the PEMS, if you're a 0 on the PEMS, if you're a 3, if you're a 10, if you're 100, we will meet you where you need to be, and we will shift whatever's going on.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
Definitely.
I've just put my guarantee out there.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
We're both really good at what we do. We are very good at what we do, and we love it. We love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is our life's work for sure.
Totally.
So beautiful, friends. This is us getting ready to wrap up this episode. Are you drained by being a people pleaser? We trust that these tips give you some inspiration to cleanse, declutter, get on to track for your own best way forward. But before we wrap this up and send you on your way, we're going to do our PEMS check-in again, because we said we did our check-in at the beginning, and then we trust that you had a wee check-in with yourself at the halfway point. But now we're all going to check in. And as Deb said at the beginning, our intention with these conversations is to meet you wherever you are and gently, lovingly, kindly, nurturingly
I love the way
ease
she says
you,
it. Push you to the
ease
0.
you towards the 0. So at the beginning, I was a 2 and Deb was a 1.5. Where would you say you are now?
I think we might be the same.
I
I'm going to
think so
say
too.
0, 0, 0, 0.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely a 0. This has been a really good conversation. I really like this.
It's been a beautiful one.
So, dear listeners, we would love to hear actually, where were you at the beginning of this conversation and where are you now? And we would love for you, we're going to give you 2 action steps. One is, if you're feeling discombobulated or you maybe are feeling a wee bit like you're alone, reach out. Reach out. Reach out to myself, to Deb, to your tribe. Reach out and actually allow yourself to open up to getting in on track with filling your cup. Yes, filling your cup and giving from the saucers. I think that's such an important rules to live by. And then the last step for you to do is to share this conversation. Share this conversation because the more of us that do the inner work, the more of a difference in the whole collective that it just reverberates out. And so that's the other part of the intention of these conversations, is to be a part of a deliciously motivated mindset wave that can encompass the entire planet.
Yeah.
So that's us Did you have any last
No, no, it feels beautiful. It just feels beautiful, and I just trust that we hit a note with people today.
Definitely. Me too. Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you, dear Deb. Thank you to
Thank
the
you.
internet, and thank you to our listeners. We'll be back with you next time.